my introduction to the adventures of space travel and give you an indication of where we're going. Professor von Braun was a German scientist who was responsible for developing the V-2 rocket during World War II. When Germany fell to the Allied forces, von Braun placed paperclips in his most important files and convinced the Allied soldiers to salvage them. The paperclip files, as they were later known, ensured that von Braun's research was not destroyed and provided the basis of the American space program. Von Braun and his team were later relocated to Alabama, where my adventure began. This is Rocket Park in the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama. Although many associate Cape Canaveral with the NASA space program, this venue is only the launch site for space missions, where the development of the rockets and a large portion of the training actually occurs in Alabama. Space Camp was an idea initiated by a conversation between Dr. von Braun and Edward Buckby. The idea of the camp is to encourage children and adult science geeks just like me to pursue their passion for science. The camp provides opportunities to explore some of the museum displays, learn about the history of space, and the future of where we're going. This is Alan Shepard. He was one of the first people, or he was the first person, to ever orbit the Earth's atmosphere. He was also the oldest man to ever walk on the moon, and one of the few to ever play golf there. Unintentionally, in fact, Alan Shepard was also the first person to discover urine floated in space. He wet his spacesuit shortly before the launch of his rocket and was nicknamed Wetback for the remainder of his career. This is myself in the Mercury space capsule. It gives you an idea of just how tiny and confined a ride it would be. That capsule was placed on the top of a Saturn V rocket, which falls away shortly after being blasted off. The Mercury program was followed by Project Gemini. That gives you an idea of the Project Gemini capsule. It's about the size of the backseat of a Mini Cooper, and the astronauts were in there for 8 days. So it's like spending 8 days in a Mini Cooper with your best friend and all your nappies. The Mercury and Gemini programs were followed by the shuttle program, and there were 5 shuttles that completed 135 missions between 1981 and 2011. The picture in the bottom part of the screen is a picture of my team, and we were following a Space Shuttle mission there. This is zero gravity training. I'm weightless in my suit. I'm holding on just with my pinky finger, and I'm busy constructing a solar panel based on the instructions I'm receiving. By far the hardest part of this task was that the child who had been in the suit before me had sneezed, and as a result, my vision was slightly blurred. We also got to experience 4Gs. I always tell my class, if you put your hands on either side of your nose and pull back as hard as you can, that's what 4Gs feels like. Smiling's almost impossible. It's by far the least attractive you ever look in your life. We also got to experience things like helicopter training. So we did a simulated helicopter crash, as well as a rescue in a helicopter basket. This is America, so even though the water's this deep and I had provincial swimming colors, I was still required to wear my helmet and life jacket at all times. This is me walking on the moon. The moon has 1/6 of Earth's gravity, so every time your feet touch down, literally you bounce back up. My grade 7 class was very impressed. We managed to do the Harlem Shake in our chairs, posted it to YouTube for their benefit. Okay, we also got to view some of the memorabilia from the space missions. I'm wearing Neil Armstrong's glove there, which was fairly special. And the moon rock at the bottom was from the first space mission. Clearly, the astronauts had a sense of humor. The plaque below it reads, "This was my favorite rock, I chose it especially." The multi-axis trainer allows you to experience movement just as the astronauts do. Although you think you'd feel incredibly sick, and those who know me know that I get sick kind of in a swimming pool. Because you're spinning so fast, your brain actually can't adjust to the speed. And as a result, you never actually feel nauseous. You just kind of confuse your vestibular system. This is the International Space Station. In spite of the American government fighting at the moment, it is still up and running. And we send astronauts up there fairly regularly. It is certainly said to be the place from which space travel will continue, and it's where the majority of our research goes. It's also a place that for a mere $20 million you can visit. Mark Shuttleworth became the first African space tourist when he went there, and he stayed there for 8 days. Although they've officially shut down tourism to the site, they are rumored to be opening it up fairly soon, with the intention that tourists will in fact pay for the continued running of the center. If the ISS doesn't appeal to you, you can always join the mission to Mars in 2030. At the moment, we have the Mars Curiosity rover, and the NASA Mars Maven is set to go up in December of this year, where they'll continue to do surveys for the site. South Africa isn't being left out of the space race. This is the Square Kilometre Array Telescope. For those who don't know, it's being built in Cape Town as we speak. It is set to be 10,000 times more powerful than any other radio telescope in the world. And the best part about it is we beat Australia in the bid. The last thing, if you are in fact interested in space travel and you have the bucks, you can book a seat on Virgin Galactic spaceship. This vehicle is set to do, or has done, a number of successful test flights, and it is set to be taking passengers on suborbital flights as early as 2014. And this picture I put up for no other reason than I thought it was pretty. And I actually have include inspirational ending written on my cue card here. This, for me, is just an indication of where we're headed. It's a picture of the Prawn Nebula. It's nebulas, for those who don't know, are normally places where stars are born, and it certainly gives us an indication of where we're headed in the future. Thank you very much.